Perhaps everyone has heard of delicacies that may be the last thing you ever taste in your life, such as monkey brains. However, even the most familiar foods can cause irreparable damage to the body and even cause death. Here are 10 of the most insidious. Grapefruit is a popular citrus fruit known for its health benefits, but it can be life-threatening when combined with certain medications and even alcohol. Grapefruit contains substances known as furanocoumarins, which affect the liver enzymes responsible for metabolizing the drugs, resulting in higher levels of the drugs in the blood, increasing the risk of side effects and scary allergic reactions, up to and including anaphylactic shock. Therefore, if you are a fan of this citrus and in parallel taking antidepressants, allergy medications, or statins to reduce cholesterol, be sure to consult with your doctor. But grapefruit and alcohol together is a really dangerous combo, because grapefruit increases the effect of alcohol and slows metabolism. That even if you drank very little, the level of alcohol in the blood will be very high, which can lead to intoxication. In a mild form, you can get away with a headache and nausea, but if you are a fan of such cocktails in large quantities, then we are talking about the risk to life. Cashew. Today we are not going to talk about the huge caloric content of this nut and the fact that for some people it is a strong allergen. We will emphasize that it is dangerous for everyone. The shell in which the cashew grows is deadly. It is coated with anacardic acid, which can cause burns, and if ingested in the stomach causes serious poisoning. It is believed that the cashew itself also contains the toxin urushiol, so this nut is not eaten raw. However, after heat treatment, it is destroyed and the nuts become completely safe. Cashews also contain oxalates, which can contribute to the formation of kidney stones, so people prone to stone formation should be careful with this nut. It is a useful nut. If you follow the rules of processing and take into account the individual characteristics of the body, it will only bring benefits. Fugu fish. All cooks know what poison is in fugu fish, and it is one of the strongest poisons in the world, and it is tetrodotoxin. This poison is 1,200 times more toxic than potassium cyanide and has no antidote. This means that in the case of fugu fish poisoning, there's virtually no chance of survival. But that doesn't stop extreme foodies. It is forbidden to eat the roe of this fish. One fish can kill several adults with its venom. It is cooked only with gloves. Therefore, its preparation is strictly regulated. Only cooks who have undergone years of training and received a certificate and license have the right to cook it. Despite such a strict approach, every year there are cases of poisoning with this fish. Any alcohol in inordinate quantities or of inappropriate quality can be your last drink of life. This drink is made from the juice of sweet fennel or aniseed, which not only gives it an unusual flavor, but also poses a threat due to the naturally hallucinogenic and psychotropic drug thujone, which it contains in huge quantities. More than 100 years ago, it was banned in the United States and many European countries, and at the time it was associated with schizophrenia, crime, and death. So absinthe is not as simple as it seems. Nutmeg is often used in cooking, and even more often in pastries, especially in Christmas treats. It is usually added just a little, as it contains myristicin and elemicin. These are psychoactive substances that cause not only hallucinations, but also convulsions, palpitations, nausea, dehydration, confusion, and headaches. 2 to 3 teaspoons of this spice can lead to unpleasant consequences. Sometimes overdose can be fatal. Therefore, you need to be careful with this spice. Everyone says apples are good for you. But it turns out there are limitations. The substances contained in apples can have both positive and negative effects on the human body. Especially if you like to eat apples with pips. Apple pips contain amygdalin, which in the body is broken down into hydrogen cyanide, which can be dangerous if you eat a lot of pips. At the same time, moderate amounts of apple seeds can be beneficial as they contain iodine and other beneficial substances. So the rule of thumb at work here is that everything is good in moderation. In general, honey is not the most dangerous product, but it still carries dangers, especially when it comes to unpasteurized honey. Raw honey can contain bacterial spores that lead to botulism, especially dangerous for children and pregnant women. It also contains microorganisms including bacteria and yeast that lead to food poisoning and other infections. It also contains flower pollen, which is also dangerous to humans. Therefore, buy pasteurized honey and still counterbalance the amount consumed. And for children under 3 years of age, doctors do not advise at all to get acquainted with this product. Perhaps everyone knows rhubarb. The stems of this plant are very useful and are usually used to prepare various desserts and drinks. But the leaves of rhubarb, toxic, as they contain oxalic acid and other poisonous compounds, badly affecting the work of the kidneys. But the stones in the packs are not so terrible, because rhubarb is very easy to poison if you do not know that it becomes especially dangerous during the flowering period. It is in this period the concentration of oxalic acid in the leaves reaches the maximum level, so it is important to collect and consume rhubarb before flowering. There are even several cases in the world when the consumption of rhubarb root caused death. Today, many people are seafood lovers, and crab occupies a worthy place among them. It is not dangerous if it is well cleaned and fully heat-treated. Otherwise, the sea delicacy can cause cholera, a disease that poses a mortal threat to human life. Peanuts. This nut is the most common allergen among children. Peanuts can cause serious allergic reactions up to anaphylactic shock, which is a life-threatening condition. Peanuts can be susceptible to mold, and some types of mold produce aflatoxins, toxic compounds that can be harmful to health and even carcinogenic. Take care of yourself and be careful about the foods you consume.